Oh, man. I don't know what to say. You guys are just too much. I only made the video for fun and literally just did way better than I expected. So I think it's best that I go, as someone said, more in depth into what I said. Man, I don't know how to really start this off, but let me start off with this, right? So when I basically started off this video, I thought I was gonna make jokes. I was gonna do what I normally do, but I didn't expect for me to have to explain, or didn't have to go that in depth. I've been making videos for a while now, so I've just been focusing on the main things that got my attention. So I specifically focus on Avdol, Joseph, Jotaro, and Polnareff, but I didn't talk about Kakyoin. And the reason why is because he basically like left the show, right? Because he got injured, so he disappeared for quite a lot of good scenes in the show. So I was kind of just like, well, he's gone. I guess I'm just gonna talk about those guys instead, and it's kind of just been like that, right? When he returned. He had his moments. They weren't really that crazy, but he had moments before that were really good. So I think that's kind of how I felt. I do like Kakyoin. It's not the same. You know what I mean? It's not the same in comparison to the rest of the crew. I like them all equally. It's just certain things aren't the same for everybody. So he's kind of one of those characters. I think the peak moment, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can agree, the moment where he does that insane Emerald Splash against Dio to basically point out to Joseph that he has a time stop ability. That was probably one of the greatest moments for Kakyoin. It really made you like him a lot more. It made you be like, damn, you know what I mean? That moment right there really solidified my point. In my last video, I talked about Jotaro, how he would punch everything. I didn't elaborate on what I meant, but when I meant he punched everything, that's pretty much like what Star Platinum does. He can also do Star Finger, he can do other moves, but that's kind of the soul of what Star Platinum can do. Pretty much punch everything. And it's not like Jojo feels like he should punch everything. It's just that things just piss him off to the point where he just should just do it, right? So he just does that over the course of the show. It's not that he feels like it, it's because just things piss him off. And so I have began to understand why, and it's just like, it seems as though he doesn't care, but he does care to a certain degree. It's kind of a part of his character. The Fool is a interesting stand, right? When I first saw it, I instantly, got me interested. A stand that has stand abilities. It's not that crazy, but it can turn into what looks to be sort of like some type of like dog or bird thing that has like wings, but it's able to sort of act like a car, right? So it is pretty cool. And when I spoke about Iggy for a few moments, I spoke more specifically about the fight between him and Pet Shop. The reason why I did that was because that was pretty much the moment that really pushed Iggy's character. There was a moment where him and Jotaro had a moment. There was a moment with him and Polnareff, but the moment that really pushed his character and really gave him reason was really the fight between him and Pet Shop. But that was not the only moment. Another moment that really pushed his character for me was also Vanilla Ice, where Vanilla Ice basically faces off against Polnareff and Iggy. And basically, Iggy did a lot of things in there, and there was so many things, like Avdol's death in that fight. I think Avdol's death was the catalyst to that fight, because it was really the thing that stemmed the battle. So that point was like crazy. Like I remember I was watching it and I was just like, wow, like damn. You know what I mean? He just gone like that. He ain't gonna come back. Damn. It was pretty cool seeing Polnareff and Iggy actually team up in a fight. So that was pretty awesome. And then when I spoke about Polnareff, I basically said that his stand has like some of the best sword fights in the entire show. One of the best fights I've seen was between him and Anubis. And the lore of Anubis is like pretty top tier. Like it is really good. Like I thought it was pretty interesting. And so yeah, seeing like Star Platinum and Polnareff like go at it, because basically what happens is Polnareff gets a hold of Anubis, and the sword basically controls him now, basically, and he ends up fighting Jotaro, and so on and so forth. I actually did enjoy the fight scene; it was pretty cool. But like that's pretty much Anubis. But let's focus more on Silver Chariot versus Anubis. That fight was like so good because he like, I mean, Polnareff was just going crazy. That was awesome. Another scene in the show that really bothered me was it was the moment where Polnareff had to face off against this puppet, and that point in the show was like pretty crazy as well. Because you'd think that this dude was about to die. Like, it's like, what? So that was like something as well. Man, it was the whole crew. Like there was the arc where they had to go and find a place to stay, and they basically, and the crew basically gets split up, and they basically encounter, what I was gonna say, but basically, let's just say Jotaro appears, and I mean, Jotaro literally starts sucking in her stand, because since her stand is basically made out of like sand or like dust, basically he's able to suck in the air, which allows him to suck in her stand, basically suffocating her. Basically, that scene was like so good. But I just went super in depth right there. There was this guy with a stand that can basically allow him to turn people into younger versions of themselves, right? And he basically turns Polnareff and Jotaro into kid versions of themselves, and they basically have to face off against him. And obviously this battle is very unfair. So so Polnareff and Jotaro have to basically face off against this guy, but they're basically split up. So pretty much most of the screen time is just Polnareff. And what ends up happening, to cut this short, is that basically Jotaro just beats the hell out of him. He doesn't even need Star Platinum. That's the crazy part. He literally just beats him up in kid form, which literally tells you like the type of person that he is. And I can understand why he beats up people, not even people, but why he beats up like individuals who try to mess with him, because they just piss him off. So it's understandable why. And I don't know if I said this before, but one of the most peak moments, I think it was episode 1. When I watched episode 1, Jojo shows off the capability of what Star Platinum can do. So he shows off how Star Platinum can like stop bullets, how he can take things, how he can basically, how he has great range for just a close range to fighter. And I thought that was like really cool. So episode 1 was pretty much top tier on my list. Like, I feel like when I explain what top tier means, people don't understand what it means. So to clear up what this means, top tier, from how I use it, means that like something is extremely good. Like it is like great above all else. Like it is like greatness, or just even greater than greatness. That is basically what that is. Like it means that it's like basically stellar. Like it's like amazing. So when I say like Jotaro is top tier, I'm saying that he's a greatly written character, right? I think I might say Kakui might be even more greatly written because of his past, basically how good his past was written. Um, yeah, like how he felt as though he was the only one who was able to see his stand, thus making him alone most of the time, and how his stand would basically fill in the roles of what he needed, and it's basically his only friend. And so that was a pretty cool moment within the show. And then I also I also said that I also said that Magician's Red is a Pokemon. I don't know why I said that. I thought it was funny, and I think it is because he literally is just like a Blaziken, like, and I'm just like, it's funny. It is actually really hilarious. So, I mean, that's pretty much my entire thought process. I pretty much dove into everything. Maybe there's something I missed. I'm not sure. But I rely on the comments to tell me if I did. And that's pretty much part 3 for me. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of episodes in part 3. A lot of moments like Yellow Temperance. There's like Darby fight. Darby fight was crazy. I never intended for this video to be this long. When I was doing this, when I first started, it was all just a fun thing. Now it's like I have to go more in depth because what I focus on, since this is a review, I focus more on my opinion, going depth on my opinion in comparison to like the whole story and everything. So that makes it more easier on me, so that the viewer doesn't have to sit there, watching the video for like a video. It's just more like, oh, this is his opinion on this, right? This is his opinion. So I try to get to my opinion as fast as possible. So my opinion on this part is that it's extremely good. It has great animation. It's like clean. It's probably the best adaptation of part 3. I love part 4 as well. I just finished it. Going on to part 5. Like, it's basically like part 1 is just like really good, but then part 3 is even better, and then part 2 is just like, okay, it's not bad. It's just extremely funny to the point where when serious scenes are applied, it's not as good because of that part. So yeah,